right. Happy Monday. It's January 24th, 2022. And from the home studio in Middletown, Delaware, I am Marshal Manlove from Delaware Sports and My Sports Reports. And on today's episode, we are going to have a chat with members of the state championship football team here in Delaware in Class 2A, the Archmere Academy Hawks. Glad to see these guys win, man. And when I hit this button here, hopefully in a second, you'll see head coach John Belace and 5 of his players. There they are. All right. They showed up. It works. Every now and then I can get this right. So here's how you are displayed on the screen right now. Coach Belace, you're in the upper left. To your right is Chris Albero. To Chris's right is, it's not Natalie. It's, you threw me off there, man. Is that your sisters or your moms or something?
No, that's my name. It's pronounced Natali.
Is it? Okay, I'm sorry. It looked like it was, oh man, now I look really dumb. I look even dumber than I normally do. Okay. So it's Nate and Natali. Okay. Sorry about that. Bottom left is Ben Monger. In the bottom center, Connor Udovich. And the bottom right, Kieran Udovich. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me. Coach, thanks for setting this all up. And congratulations to the Hawks, state champs.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
So let's start with you, Coach. What year is this that you're head of the Hawk football team now?
So this is my 6th year as the head coach.
Okay. And I just went back the last 3 years real quick to see that over the last 3 years, you guys are 25-2 during the regular season. And you haven't lost a regular season game the last 2 seasons. And last year had to be particularly challenging, especially with the pandemic roaming around, and not that this year was any easier. Why don't you start with the challenges that you had to overcome, first of all, over these past couple years with that particular scenario?
Sure. Well, I mean, last year was certainly interesting because of the on-again, off-again piece just going into the season. I remember saying to these guys, hey, look, I don't know if we have a season or not, but we're going to go out and, we're supposed to go out and start practicing and just in case, if we don't, hey, at least you got some athletic activity in. Then all of a sudden it was kind of, all right, we're having a season. You got a couple weeks, hurry up and get ready to go. Thankfully, these guys are a pretty easy group to work with, and they're pretty adaptable, as we've seen the last 2 years. So they got things rolling pretty quickly, and we jumped right into it. But there's no doubt it was a learning curve in terms of, making sure, we had the masks on, we were separated and cleaned up the gear and everything else. But, at the end of the day, it was still just football, and we kind of just got down to business and did what we had to do.
So Connor Udovich down the bottom center there. I know that you have a class, so I just want to kind of get to you. And also, you're one of the seniors on the team and a captain. Why don't you talk to us about your role as a captain on the football team?
Well, I think my role is more of keeping everybody calm and steady. Kevin, who can't be here today, is more of our hype man. And Chris is usually focusing on his own stuff, as the quarterback. So I'm just trying to keep everybody steady and focused during, before the game and stuff like that, during practice. But I also like to have a little fun. So I think I bring a little joy to the team at the same time.
You had a great year yourself. First team, Class 2A. Is it first team All-State in both offense and defense? Congratulations, a wide receiver and defensive back. What's the DeLucia Award, which you won here, I see? What is that?
That's handed out to 1 or 2 players every year in a Catholic high school that just demonstrates sportsmanship and stuff like that. It's more about integrity than what you do on the field. So that was a big honor for me to receive that. It's the 50th anniversary of it, so it was definitely a special year for me to win.
Awesome. And it looks like that's what your coach sent over to me. 10 touchdowns, big year. 33 receptions, 687 yards, 4 interceptions as well. But this apparently isn't your number one sport, is it, Connor?
No. I'm going to Rutgers next year to play lacrosse.
A Division I program too. So you're an outstanding all-around athlete. So I see this DeLucia Award that you explained, and you were also selected for the Man in the Glass Award. Is that kind of? It looks like it's kind of similar. Is it or is it not?
Yeah, it is. It's based off a poem about just being able to look at the man in the mirror in the eye and be confident in what you see. And that was a great honor for me to win again. That's our team award. We don't have MVPs and defensive players. We don't kind of do that. That's not what we believe in the program. We're more of based on our morals and stuff like that. So that's what we kind of do at Archmere.
All right. And Kieran, I take as your brother?
Yeah.
Udovich. Not necessarily a common name, so it kind of stands to reason. And Kieran, you're a co-captain as well, a junior on the team. So explain your role there at Archmere as a captain, how you see it.
Obviously I got hurt like week 6, so my captain role kind of changed to being kind of like the cheerleader of the team, which I kind of liked, if I'm going to be honest. It gave me an excuse to get rowdy on the sidelines, get hype, and everybody made a good play. And thankfully, they made it pretty easy for me since we had a great year. And like what Coach was saying earlier, it was a very easy team to work with and get everybody going because everybody bought in.
What was your injury?
I tore my ACL, MCL, and both the meniscuses. Yeah, so I kind of blew out my knee.
Surgery for that?
Yes, I did. I had it like a month or 2 ago.
And how's that progressing for you?
Going pretty well. I'm excited to be back next year. And it's definitely a journey, but I've been through it once or twice. So it's another obstacle on the road. So I'm willing to take it on.
And do you play a sport in the spring?
I normally play lacrosse, but I haven't been able to play for a couple of years because of all my injuries. But I will be there again, being the cheerleader, rooting on my brother. Hopefully they can bring one home again. So We'll see.
All right. What was the highlight of the season for you, Kieran?
This might sound a little bit cheesy, but my brother's one-handed catch. It was just like, I don't know. It was just like seeing my brother making that catch was just unbelievable. And obviously the championship was everything I could have ever asked for. We're walking up to Chris after the game, and Chris was like, dude, we did it for you. And that was like, I don't know how you don't cry after that. Like, I was bawling my eyes. And I think it was everybody was just so proud. Like coming back from last year to this year, it was just you can't put words to it. It was incredible.
So you mentioned a one-handed catch by your brother there. Explain that. When was it? Where was it? What was the significance?
It was a semifinal game against DMA. I forget what the score was, but I know we were going for 2, and it was a 2-point conversion. And we did a fade route to Connor. Chris likes to take credit for the catch, but I think it was a little bit too far behind him. And I think Connor laid out and got it, which was a very nice catch. It was definitely awesome. Yeah.
All right. Let's go over to Ben Munger. You're a junior with the team, second team all-district defensive back. You had an injury. You had an injury, or were you sick last year? I can't figure out what he wrote there.
Nah, I just transferred over to Archmere this year. I was at Tatnall last year.
Okay,
we
I see.
didn't have a season due to COVID.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And you had a couple interceptions. What was your highlight for you personally this year, Ben?
Obviously the championship was amazing. Going from not even playing last year and like being like not really known around the state at all, like personally, and then just stepping onto a team where we were already like formed, and just like stepping in and knowing my role and just being able to buy into that and play my part and be able to help out win the championship game. That was just amazing.
So, Ben, where do you see yourself fitting in with this team next year?
Next year, I definitely see myself contributing more on offense. This year, I didn't really after like week 3, I think it was, I kind of like took a step back on offense and focused more on defense. But next year, I definitely see myself stepping into more of like a receiver role, as well as defensive back.
Okay. And I see that you're also a track athlete. Are you participating in winter track?
Yeah, yeah, I'm running right now.
And what events do you run there?
I run the 55 and 4x2 and open 200.
Okay. How you doing with that so far?
Our 4x2 team is doing really good. We just got a school record, I think it is, last weekend.
Oh, at
And
the
then,
Tower Hill meet?
nah,
Or was
it
it-
was at Alvernia.
Okay. Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, record setters. That's awesome.
Sure.
Nate, upper right hand corner up there, and let me just apologize again because everything's small on the screen there for me. And I see that you've been selected captain for next year. Congratulations.
Thank you.
On
Thank
that.
you.
Did you campaign for the position?
Um, I can't say that I have, maybe unintentionally, but I've, kept the same mentality all year. Try to be a leader on the line when we were dealing with a lot of injuries in the beginning of the season. So yeah, I just tried to lead my brother lineman through the trenches and it out on top at the end of the year.
Yeah, you lie, man. You hardly get any respect, man. So I'm glad to see that you're part of the roster here today. How tall are you? How much do you weigh?
I'm 5'10". Right now I weigh just under 200 pounds, but normally during the season I'm about like 205, 210.
Okay. What are you, about 16 or 17?
Yeah, 16 years old.
Okay. And first team All-State player as well. Congratulations. As a junior.
Thank you.
That's fantastic. Not a whole lot of juniors make first team All-State here in Delaware, so congratulations. And it's tough to get noticed. It's tough for the linemen to get noticed too, right, Coach? Especially at a younger age, to make a first team All-State, it kind of takes a little extra time for them to get noticed because they're not the ones seen in the newspapers having scored the touchdown, throw the touchdowns, and all that kind of stuff. So he must be very, very good.
He is very good.
30 tackles, sack. Oh, you play a couple different sports too, Nate. You're wrestling right now. How's wrestling going for you?
It's going pretty well. It's my first time ever wrestling. So still learning a lot about it, getting used to it. But I think it'll help me transition into my senior football season a lot better, and definitely get me into good shape and maintaining that conditioning and endurance all year long.
And in the spring, you're going to hit the track, I see.
Yes, I throw shot put. I've been doing that for most of my life, so that comes pretty easy to me, like football.
Okay. So the interesting note that I have here about you is that you're a master singer.
Yes, I am.
So tell me about that.
It's a more, I guess, prestigious choir that we offer at Archmere. There's normally the concert choir, which is like a class you can take, an elective. And then the same teacher for that does the master singers, and he normally invites people to audition for it. And we do a lot of concerts around Delaware. And when it's before COVID, they did a lot of trips around the country, around the world. They sang for the Pope once.
Wow.
So it's very time consuming and definitely very rewarding.
So have they had you sing the national anthem before games at all?
They have not asked me to, sadly, but maybe
Right? Yeah, no doubt
maybe.
about that.
We'll see what happens.
So what was the a couple of highlights of your season, Nate?
I would say one of the main highlights was definitely the semifinal game against DMA, but I would have to say that the singular play was Connor's touchdown coming out of the start off the second half. We were down 10-0 at halftime. We went in the locker room. We all just took a deep breath, calmed down, made sure we all knew that there was a lot more game to be played. that we've made comebacks before and that we know how to beat this team. And just going out there on the first play, Connor scoring a 75-yard touchdown, just really eased everyone's nerves. And I think definitely got the fans more into it. And it was just a surreal feeling to see him wide open, score a touchdown, and the entire stadium start jumping.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Chris Albero, you are the quarterback of this team. And congratulations to you. I actually thought you were a senior, but you're a junior, and you were the Offensive Player of the Year for Class 2A. Fantastic. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And first-team All-State quarterback and kicker, too. Man. A couple guys, 2 first-team All-State selections there, Coach. No wonder you won it all. Right? Fantastic.
Yep. I tell everybody it's all them. They don't believe me.
What's that? What was that?
I said I tell everybody it's all them. They don't believe me. So.
He was the coach of the year too, so that makes it a lot easier on us.
It's true. It's a combination of all the above, no doubt about that. So I saw a post after your win against the Wilmington Friends, where one of the Wilmington Friends coaches, I guess he was congratulating, I think, your dad, and he was saying, he was talking to your dad and said, your son's a baller, and you definitely proved that throughout the year. Not only are you throwing touchdowns, you're running for them. 134 carries you had. And you threw the ball 117 times, so 170 times. So check this out for those who are watching. Chris Albero rushed for 690 yards and 7 touchdowns, threw for 1,756 yards with 21 touchdowns, quarterback rating of 127.8. Coach, 127.8, explain the quarterback ranking and how good that actually is.
Well, I don't know that I'm the best to explain the math of it, but when you see somebody who maintains it, I guess the thing for me that's the most impressive there is, Max Preps keeps throwing that number up every so often. What's impressive to me is that the number was that way more or less the entire season. There was real consistency in Chris's play throughout, and things like turnovers really ding that number up. Inconsistency in terms of percentage accuracy. So to get a number that high, you have to have really good accuracy, not just throwing touchdowns, but good accuracy, minimal turnovers, and Chris did all of that for us this year. So. A lot of times numbers don't tell the whole story, but that one starts to tell a pretty good story about what he did for us this year on the field.
But not only that, he kicks all these points too. 40 for 44 on extra points, 6 for 7 on field goals, a few for over 35 yards. Good at the high school level. There's no doubt about that. And bigger and better things to come for you. Talk about some of your personal highlights. Team-related, personally related, whatever it is you want to talk about there. What stands out for you, Chris?
Personal highlight of mine probably had to be my run against Caesar Rodney. It was I think it was 80 yards. The line just cleared the hole and could have fit a truck through it, and I just casually ran through it, nobody untouched. So I've never had a run that long, so that was kind of cool. Team highlight definitely would be, after practice, putting in work, just knowing that, it was dark outside. Nobody else wanted to be there. It was cold, but we were working and nobody else was. That's probably my favorite team highlight. Trying to think what else. Favorite win, probably have to go state championship. Just having the defense put up 0 points and making my job easy. I can't ask for anything more.
Yeah, and you beat an undefeated Woodbridge team, too. So you two schools were the only undefeated schools left in the state at that point. You won. The Archmere Hawks, the only undefeated football team in the state this year. That was fantastic. Proud to see that, because I know you guys I know your team and I know your coach for quite some time. So, Coach, tell me what I'm missing about any of these guys here. Feel free to brag about them. Any kind of personal anecdotes you want to share? Feel free.
I mean, how long do you have?
Got plenty
These
of time.
guys, you know, coaching is, I mean, I think any coach worth their salt knows that, however good you think you are, it really comes down to what your players can absorb and what they can do on the field and how hard they play for each other. And I say for me, the things that I like the most, I mean, everybody can watch our film, watch our games, and see what these guys do in terms of talent. But it's some of the things you heard them mention along the way. It's the fact that, Chris is out there with a bunch of guys throwing on their own, just trying to get better, trying to master their craft. It's, a guy like Ben coming into a new situation and competing hard from day one to get, he's got some pretty high expectations for himself. To see him come in and compete hard for that and assimilate right away into this group of guys who, really seem to love each other. That's awesome. It's watching, a guy like Kieran, who's willing to just do whatever. I mean, Kieran has been a star athlete most of his life. And, he's just willing, oh, coach, you need me to go block that guy? Sure, I got it. If we say, hey, we need you to put your hand down on this play, he'll go put his hand down on this play. Just no ego. It's just whatever we need to win. Connor was a quarterback before he became an all-state wide receiver and defensive back. A guy like Nate, it's his first year as a two-way starter. And, he told me before the season that he thought he could get postseason accolades. That was one of his goals. And he just went out and did it. And like he mentioned, we had a lot of injuries at times. So guys had to shuffle around. And you look at a guy like him, his stats may not jump off, but the reason that he was picked the where he was because other coaches who played him and saw him know how good he is and know that a lot of the stuff that doesn't show up on a stat sheet are the things that he's really doing for us. So, it's just an unselfish group of guys who are, have all the talent to be, ego driven and, all about themselves. And instead, all they do is play hard for each other and try to get better constantly. And that's what made this team go this year. And that's hopefully what's going to make us go again next year.
I don't see why it wouldn't. So one of the things I like to talk about with teams that are successful, programs that are successful, is that you find that there's a unique culture within the team itself that people from the outside just don't understand. It could be anything from the slang that's spoken with each other to where you go to eat, traditions, habits, superstitions, anything like that. Any of you guys want to talk about any of those kind of things that you have amongst yourselves that kind of bond yourselves together, but other people and maybe even other teams within the school don't do?
I think one that's pretty special to us is that like the day before the game, we always had mass before practice. And, it sounds like that's not like a big deal. It wouldn't mean that much to us. But Father McLaughlin always does a good job preparing us and giving us a good speech on what we need to do and, reminding us, what it's all about. It's not about winning games. It's about more than that. And I think every Friday or sometimes on a Thursday, we go, after we're all kind of riled up, the day before a game or before a state championship. And so we're obviously, our nerves really aren't at ease. And then we go in there and take some quiet time and relax and stuff like that. I don't think a lot of people would understand that. I mean, I don't think we do that in any other, team at Archmere anyways. So it's something different that we do that I think helps us a lot.
Is there a place where you like to go to eat before, after a game?
I think we go to PJ Willihan's a lot. we go to a few places. We have some team dinners too on Fridays, like Buffalo Wild Wings. We go to Claymont Steaks. It's more of a local place right next to Archmere. But now we go to a few different places. As long as we're together, we find our strength in each other. And I think that's kind of the main thing we do.
Surprised Claymont Steaks didn't come up first. Whenever I go up there, that's where I go. Right? It's like if somebody is to say to somebody, well, I'm going to go and watch the game next year, watch a game. Where do I go eat? It's the first place you say, right? It's got to be Claymont Steak Shop. It's right. It's like right there. You know, but anyway, you have a bunch of places to go. That's cool. Anybody else want to handle any of those? Now let's do it this way. I'm going to go around the circle here. I'm going to start with Ben, and I'd like you to say something about Connor. So you can say something funny, something nice, something positive, whatever it is, and then we'll just work around the circle like that.
So coming into Archmere, like not even preseason, before preseason, like summer when we were like out on the field working, all that type of things. It was just nice, like knowing that I was coming in to find someone that I can like really compete with every single day, like someone that's gonna get me better and that I'm gonna be challenged by. And I know going against Connor, there are some reps I'm gonna lose, there's some reps I'm gonna win, and I just know that ultimately I'm always getting better going against him. And I love having a guy like that on the team.
Well done. Connor, you're going to get your brother. Same question.
Kieran's special because, he's the hardest worker on the team. And I think, nobody really contests that. That's kind of his title, and he's owned it since he came in as a freshman. So when he gets hurt, everybody kind of feels that, but he doesn't really skip a beat. He's right there every practice, standing there in the freezing cold, and he's still out there after practice, even though he can't do anything. He's standing out there, frozen. I know how cold I am, and I'm running around, and I think everybody can, attest to how much he works. But at the same time, when he works that hard and can't play, and he's still there for us, it makes it that much more special for the rest of us.
Well done, Kieran. You have Nate.
Nate and I have always kind of had a pretty good bond. I mean, I worked with him over the summer at Archmere, and so I call him Morta, not Nate, but Morta didn't play his freshman or sophomore year. He was just kind of there, and then I worked out with him. I've never seen a man like work that hard. Like, we were in the gym every single day after work. We worked from 7 to 4, and then went to the gym from like 4 to 7. We just grinded, and then it shows. This kid went off. He was first team, both sides of the ball, which it's insane. The Italian stallion, that's all I got to say.
Nice. Could have led with that too. That has been equally as impressive. Nate, you have Chris.
I would say that the main thing with Chris is that his ability to be concerned and to have an impact on everybody on the team's lives, both on and off the field. He's always the first person to text, not only in the group chat, but individually to everyone to make sure that, they're doing well, they're understanding the plays. He'll offer to draw plays, meet with them to go over the plays, and then also make sure that, everything is going okay with them at home, in school, socially, just everything. He just looks out for his entire team, and he's just a great leader for it.
Yeah, well said. Chris, you have Ben.
Ben, we were happy to get a great addition of Ben this year. I got a couple classes with Ben, got to get to really know him. Ben's willingness to work, and at the beginning of the year, early preseason, he didn't know much of us, and we would always text, go to the field, 4:00, whatever, and Ben was always that kind of guy. He's like, I'm there. And it didn't matter if he knew everybody going, didn't know the coaches who were going there. He was there, and he was just ready to work every single time. And he always, he gave our wide receivers great competition every single practice, every single workout.
Well done. Connor, as the senior captain here, my question is about your coach. So tell me anything that you might remember that he said that has stuck with you as something that you think you're going to take. It could be just a quote, anything like that, or tell me what he has meant to you over these last few years as a football player there.
Well, one quote that I think he doesn't realize, but it's kind of his pregame speech every single time. He doesn't really switch it up. He always says to take care of the rest, take care of the small things first. He's not really concerned about winning, which is weird, coming from a coach that has pretty much only won in, the last few years. But he's more concerned about us and, how we are as a team and our chemistry, and making sure that we work hard, we study the plays, and we watch film, and all those little details that go in during the week, and taking it practice by practice, making sure that we're all having a good time at the same time, competing and working hard. And then he always says that if you do those kind of things, that the rest will take care of itself and you'll win. And every time we went on the field this year, that proved to be true, because we weren't concerned about winning. We were concerned about our personal goals for that each and every play, giving 100%. And then at the end of the game, we were champions. So that's his. And then to me, coach, it's definitely weird, having AP environmental science class and having him talk to you about, science and stuff like that, and then going out to the field, and have him scream at you for something you did wrong. It's a weird relationship, but I mean, he just means so much to me, not only as a coach, but in my life. I can see him every day, and I know that he's always there for me. If I ever have problems with anything, I can go talk to him, and he wouldn't hesitate to drop everything he's doing, because that's just kind of the person he is. He'll give his shirt off his back for you, and that's what I like about him.
Yeah, well done. Well said. All right. Coach, fill in any gaps, anything that I'm missing here. I don't want to leave anything out, something that's important about the team, any of these guys. You want to mention any other players on the team who deserve a lot of credit? I mean, you could probably name every single one, but a couple off the top of your head, perhaps, anything like that.
Sure could. Well, obviously, I mean, Kevin DiGregorio wasn't able to be here because he has an appointment already scheduled. But, he's another captain for us. Was a defensive player of the year for multiple years. But again, another guy who it's the work he puts in and the expectations he sets off the field. Another guy that I wasn't able to be here today, but flies under the radar for us, is Scott Lucarelli. He has the fortune/misfortune of playing next to Kieran and Kev DiGregorio, because a lot of times the attention falls on those guys and people miss how good he is. But he's probably been one of our most consistent, outstanding defensive players for a couple years now. And again, another guy who's just, whatever the team needs, he just gets it done. I mean, we can go down the list: Johnny Kim, Declan Pearson, Max Ewing. I think almost every senior contributed in some way to this team, and some of them in big ways. So, we're going to miss them a lot next year. But we're also really excited about the guys that are coming back, and some of the guys who are going to be stepping up to varsity. So, the expectations are set now. I tell these guys that all the time. The decision now is, do you want to be a one-time champion, or do you want to be a championship program? And now their decision is what to do next and how to make this the new norm. And I think Connor said it exactly right. We're not going to do that by focusing on the end goal. We're going to do it by focusing on the things that need to happen to get us there. And these guys have set a phenomenal standard as seniors for everybody coming back to do that.
Well, hopefully this is a beginning of a dynasty for the Auk football team there. I'd love to see it. So, all right. So I want to thank head coach John Belace, Connor Udovich, Kieran Udovich, Chris Albero, Nate Morta, Ben Monger for joining us here on Delaware Sports and My Sports Reports, the Class 2A state football champions here in Delaware. Guys, wave goodbye to our viewer base there. Hang on, I'm going to say goodbye off air. Your mics will be live, so just mindful of that. And I'm going to wrap up the show and get back to you and say goodbye. All right?